Late in the summer of 2004, a team of archaeologists in Northern Ontario discovered canisters of film containing the most important footage in Canadian TV history. The long-lost episodes of Jimmy MacDonald's Canada. For a brief period in the mid-60s, Jimmy MacDonald was the most popular TV star in the country. 10 million Canadians would tune in each week. Then, disaster. After a major on-air meltdown, MacDonald succumbed to paranoia and mass delusion. He renounced television, the medium that had given him so much, so quickly. He decided to move to the Northwest Territories. Flying north, he took every episode of the show with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't trained as a pilot. The plane crashed and MacDonald was presumed dead. A somber Prime Minister Pearson addressed the nation.
There are millions of people tonight who, throughout the world, will feel that they have lost a friend.
MacDonald's body was never found. His hit show was thought to be lost forever.
He'd always say, "I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I'm going to give it to you straight." And he did.
In fact, it's safe to say that I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for Jimmy MacDonald.
When we were tied with the Soviets in Game 8, for some strange reason, I thought of Jimmy MacDonald and what he meant to Canada. And seconds later, I scored the winning goal.
Finding these episodes means that we now have a chance to unlock the mysteries of Canada, and that's not an exaggeration.
And now, for the first time in 40 years, CBC presents Jimmy MacDonald's Canada.
Good evening, Canada. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I'm going to give it to you straight. What's wrong with you people? You foolishly succumb to a trend that wastes time and useful energy on matters of the sinful flesh. Bending, flexing, and excuse me for saying it, sweating. It's called physical fitness, and it focuses an unseemly amount of attention on the human body. Why? To what end? Tonight on Jimmy MacDonald's Canada, I'm going to drop some barbells on the dumbbells behind the fitness industry. And trust me, it's gonna hurt. Yes, people from coast to coast have willingly embraced what can only be described as self-indulgent masochism. Machines are being used to analyze the state of one's physical fitness, assessing one's abilities to the point of expiration. This poor sod, hooked up to some kind of oxygen contraption, won't be fit for anything when they're done with him. Suddenly, we're acting like a bunch of Greeks, strutting around Mount Olympus in loincloths, parading our flesh for all to see on this mad marathon of narcissism. I fondly recall when Canucks used their bodies for more useful things, like chopping wood, stacking hay, and carrying around our brain cases. Look at this woman grasping at the latest fashionable exercise, the rapid-fire undulation of the hips, the tensing and releasing. I think that's enough. You go too far. We've gone too far in this body awareness cogitum. Now, it's one thing for adults to pursue this folly, but recently I saw a piece of film so disturbing it drove me to distraction. Yes, that's right. It seems no one is immune to this mania for fitness, not even our diaper-clad little friends. Poor, innocent little children.
And back we go. Let's do exercises, see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It looks like that woman is wrenching that infant's arms from its sockets. And I'm not sure any child, I don't care how young, should be that close to fishnet stockings.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, you can do the same exercise.
Exercise for babies. Suffer the little children, indeed. Even babies aren't allowed a little baby fat anymore. Even our dear Royal Canadian Air Force has fallen prey to the phys-ed propagandists. Here's a segment of film they've produced with the National Film Board that's being shown in schools, workplaces, and Legion halls across the nation.
Physical fitness. Well, fit for what? To run a 4-minute mile? Or to win a marathon swim? Well, certainly the professional athlete needs to be fit. But for the ordinary man, there is also a very important reason. Physical fitness enables you to do your job with maximum efficiency and yet have sufficient energy reserve to cope with any emergency. Only by doing regular, vigorous exercise can the lifeguard make that rescue. A hurried call from home, a domestic emergency, then a hard run across the parking lot that could mean suicide. Exhausted, we are incapable of making quick decisions and cannot drive safely. We are accident-prone and a menace to others on the road. What's the answer? Well, the answer for everyone should be keep fit and stay alive. The Royal Canadian Air Force developed a system of exercises and called it the 5BX plan. Exercise number 1 may be considered a warm-up exercise because it prepares the body for the more strenuous activity that follows. Here you see the stride jump with the arms raising sidewards. All the major muscles in the body have been used, so you see that it is balanced. You have seen how it works. It is simple, and it takes only 11 minutes a day. The plan guides and motivates you every step of the way to a high level of physical fitness. This is it. The rest is up to you.
I just don't get what's wrong with Canadians carrying around a few extra pounds. It keeps us warm during Advent and Yuletide. We are naturally a nation of endomorphs. Enough said. After the break, I'll show you some exercises in futility that are becoming popular with the teen set. Cookie, Daddy-O. But first, enjoy this word from our sponsor, Provincial Cigarettes. Remember, if you're Canadian, you've got to be provincial.
I guess I mostly remember his aura. He had a kind of an air of authority on the air, off the air, you know. It's just, it was overpowering, really. You know?
I heard about Jimmy MacDonald in J School when I was at Rye High. My professor talked about him as this mythical figure, but I just kind of thought he was this pothead that went nuts.
Hello, folks. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and tonight I'm exposing the fraud that is fitness in Canada. Caveat emptor, ladies. In your desperation to burn off those curves that got you where you are, you might get singed by some shady entrepreneurs. Here's a cautionary tale from the exercise industry, a story about a company called Stauffer.
Over 6 million women have come through these Stauffer doors in the past 25 years. They come for many reasons, principally muscle toning, tightening, posture correction, and of course reducing. Here, for example, Mrs. Carey, how are you feeling today?
Wonderful, Mrs. Medley. This is so relaxing.
Good. What's been happening to you the past 3 or 4 months in particular? What's the thing that's thrilled you most?
Well, besides pounds, I've lost a couple of inches.
And posture, any difference at all?
Oh, the posture, yes, is greatly improved.
Good. We feel Stauffer's is the best because of its marvelous system of supervision. Each woman has a figure problem. This must be carefully analyzed. We must weigh and measure every 2 weeks, set a goal for her, and see that she achieves this. Our tables do the part, but also the supervision. How are you today, Mrs. Saffron?
I'm fine, Mrs. Medley. I've just been to the doctor, and he said my circulation is really improved now.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes, it is.
This is why we call it our miracle table. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Bye.
What a waste of dough. Women paying to be slabs on torture racks. And speaking of torture, the kids of today have discovered new ways to stay fit. They're called fads. Gangly, self-conscious kids across the nation are using their dexterity to assert dominance over a piece of plastic. You want to impress me, kids? Mow the lawn while you spin that thing.
Now, 16 million youngsters are wiggling within their hoops like hysterical hula dancers. In Hamilton, a hula-thon, as hundreds of eager youngsters gather to compete for prizes. At this contest, anyone from 7 to 14 can take part. And even some parents have found the hula hoops are a good form of calisthenics, but done behind closed doors.
Benign activities compared to a new terror loose on the streets. Probably the most organized attempt by children to dominate the world. It's called sidewalk surfing, or scurfing. The Toronto police are directing an organized campaign to stamp out these menaces, but scurfers are organized too. Here's the president of the Ontario branch of Sidewalk Surfers of Canada, or SUC, in conversation with a new member of the Jimmy MacDonald team, Lloyd Robinson.
Gay is a student at Etobicoke Collegiate in West Toronto, and here she comes in the shadow of the CBC television tower. Hi, Gay. I'll bet this is the first time that you have ever been on a surfboard in a dress as lovely as that.
Yes, it is.
What do your parents think of you surfing?
Oh, they don't mind it, just as long as I'm careful and don't go on the road too much.
You may be the first girl on the moon. Well, now, you can give me my first little lesson. Are you ready? Okay. The next time you see me, I'll be in bandages. John, do you want to take the microphone?
I'll tell you what physical fitness meant in my day. It meant chores, yard work, cleaning whatever my so-called father told me to clean, or perhaps running away from the county bully Seth Pullen in order to avoid being thrashed to within an inch of my life. Well, folks, it's time for our weekly visit from Marg Margison, here to give a woman's advice. Each week, Marg Margison joins us to offer a woman's advice. Marg, you're a woman of sound mind and body, a woman of infinite good sense. What should parents tell their children about fitness? Should we even be paying attention to our bodies?
Well, Jimmy, physical fitness is a means to an end, not an end in itself. I learned a most valuable lesson at private school. I was captain of the girls' field hockey team at Branksome Hall, graceful as a gazelle, with a gift for goal scoring that remains unparalleled to this day. During the climactic moment in the championship final against Havergal, I crashed into the opposition goal and managed to break both of my legs. 2 hideous compound fractures. Naturally, wearing 2 immense casts, I was left on the sidelines when it came to invitations to the spring formal at Upper Canada College. Boys, it seems, don't like the sporting type. So girls, avoid strenuous activity. I should have. Perspiration is nobody's friend. Let's build a great Canada. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Marg. Lovely. Really lovely. Well, we've seen how the physical culture has insidiously crawled its way into the lives of virtually every Canadian. And though I make it a principle never to break a sweat, I do need to catch my breath. I'll be back after this advertisement from our sponsor, Provincial Cigarettes. What smooth flavor. What great taste. Remember, if you're Canadian, it's got to be Provincial.
I
read about the Jimmy MacDonald show when I was in school. I think these last episodes would be the perfect time capsule of what Canada was like in the 60s.
It'll actually be very inspiring to see all that old footage of Jimmy MacDonald.
I think that show was just an urban myth.
Welcome back, friends. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I hate physical fitness. If my body is my temple, I reserve the right to worship it in my own way. Steak frite and brown liquid offerings. Even our federal government politicians are hopping, skipping, and jumping aboard the body bandwagon. Our new Justice Minister is a major proponent of physical activity. Reporter Norman DePoe recently interviewed the cabinet minister about his athletic regime, a bathing suit away from stark naked. No need to write in, folks. I've already registered my formal disapproval. Here's DePoe in a bathing suit with one Pierre Trudeau.
Trudeau doesn't look middle-aged. The 158 pounds he carries are all muscle. He practices yoga, canoes, is a skier of competitive caliber, uses scuba gear expertly. In Ottawa, fitness means the Chateau Laurier swimming pool.
Pierre, it's no compliment to you to say that you're in far better physical condition than I am. You're in very good physical condition indeed. How do you find time to stay this way in addition to everything else?
Oh, I guess sport is more important than most everything in life. And, you know, when you get out of the house of comics, you feel that you want to get a little bit of exercise in.
Well, what sports do you actually take part in?
Skiing in winter, I suppose, and snowshoeing. Summer, swimming, and between season, a bit of judo and such things as that.
Take judo. Do you have a grade in judo?
I once reached the grade of brown belt, but I'd hate to wear it around now on a judo carpet, judo mat.
You also, I'm told, do this weird sport where you race down a dock with a parachute strapped on your back, and then a motorboat pulls you away and you go up on the parachute, cut loose, and drop down into the water.
Well, that's one of the ways of proving to yourself that you're alive, and in the process of doing it, sometimes you find that you're half dead, but it's fun.
Judo? Is this guy from Quebec or further east? I can't see a kook like him winning re-election anytime soon. The next dive he takes might not be at the pool, but the polls. Now it's time for Outrage of the Week, a segment that continues to generate a lot of vigorous viewer mail. Here's a letter from Horace Campbell of 67 Codrington Street in Guelph, Ontario. It reads, Dear Jimmy, I admire and appreciate the Outrage of the Week part of your show. It's an agreeable manner in which to pass 1 minute or two. Yours, Horace Campbell, of Guelph, Ontario. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. We aim to please. And here we go. I show you 3 pieces of film and then tell you which one of them outrages me the most. This week, we're talking about fitness, and here are just 3 of the things that have me quite outraged. Number 1, yoga. Look at this woman. Does she think she'll lose pounds without breaking a sweat? Is that a smile or a grimace of embarrassment on her face? This supposedly ancient art, I'm told, combines contemplation with learning how to breathe. If you need to learn how to breathe, go dunk your head. I'm guessing it'll come to you. Yoga is outrageous. Number 2, the Swedish drill team. Dancing around in skimpy tunics while cupping balls is nothing more than surrendering to terpsichorean delirium. The Swedish drill team is outrageous. And finally, number 3, women engaging in 5-pin bowling. Here's a Mrs. Marion Dibble, Toronto, Ontario, a fitness fanatic determined to strut her stuff at the lanes with her own brand of bowling braggadocio. Women bowlers are outrageous. So, which fitness trend outrages me the most? The Swedish drill team. It's outrageous. That's it for this week's show. I've shown you an unhealthy sampling of fitness footage, and for that, you'll have to pardon me. I implore you to salvage the national shards of decorum and renounce this fixation on the physical. Bodybuilding is no foundation for a nation. How about brain building? Let's try it, folks. Remember, you can always lose a few pounds, but along with them, what else? Time, for sure, and probably the respect of your peers. Next week on the show, food in the frozen north. If the old saying is true, you are what you eat, then this nation is headed for a serious tummy ache.
Good afternoon. I'm Mrs. Brady. Today I'm going to make that popular Italian dish, pizza pie. You've all probably heard about it, and if you like the recipe, please get a pencil and paper, and then you can take it down as I go.
Is Canada heading for heartburn and heartache? I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I'm giving it to you straight. Good night, Canada. Hug your children.